Les Bleus want to return to their spiritual home with a flourish, and an emphatic one given the Titans rolling into town this November. Despite a meaty injury list, Galtier is still able to field a wince-eliciting pack from debutant Tavita Tatafu to the monstrous Manny Meafu, and across that back row of enforcers. Dupont captains at a ground where his World Cup dreams were shattered, but his Olympic ones realised in a golden blaze, and Pez Ramos at half-back. Damien Penaud a last-minute withdrawal, so in comes teen flyer Théo Asogbe for his first cap on French soil. With eyes firmly on 2027, Jones has cleared the cupboards since returning to Japan, where youth and potential are the names of the game. Mamoru Harada and Warner Dern have become cornerstones of this pack, where former skipper Kazuki Himeno is feeling his way back into things after a lengthy injury layoff. Dupont isn't the only Toulouse scrum half involved tonight. Naota Saito signed for the European Giants this summer. Keep an eye on the often unplayable Dylan Riley. Galtier's benches are often groaning with heavies, but against the zip of Japan, he's gone for a niftier 5-3 tonight. Mathieu Jalabert, in particular, has a knack for swashbuckling cameos. Tom May, bonsoir. What excites you about this one?
Everything. Absolutely buzzing about this. Two teams that really want to get back to, I guess, winning ways. The French are a long way off where they want to be. Japan, you think Eddie Jones is he's tinkering with his team. He's trying to find more about the players that he's got at his disposal. But that man there, Emilien Gaitan, he is certainly some talent. And it's a real opportunity for these young French backs to have a run at test level.
A full fortnight before Los Pumas snarl into Paris, there's an Argentine out on the pitch in Saint-Denis. Damien Schneider is our referee, his 23rd international in the middle, and arguably his biggest yet. Les Bleus back at the scene of the crime where 13 months ago, Erasmus's army and a single point left heads in hands and a nation's dreams in tatters. But this is a new campaign with their talisman back and a full house gathered to watch them get it underway against these red and white hooped minnows.
Step back.
Dupont with the attempted clearance, rebounded, gathered by Warner Dern, who's 2 meters of pure tenacity, and he shows it there. 5 meters shy. Japan, Dupont wrestling it back now. There's a scrum advantage coming their way, but it's a horror start for Les Bleus.
Not going first.
Well, it's a horror start for Les Bleus, and it's welcome back to 15s rugby for Antoine Dupont at test level. As John Barclay was saying beforehand, he waltzed back into the Toulouse team, makes everything look easy.
Wait for the ball. Okay.
But you've got to go high when you're trying to get over Warner Derns. He is a big unit.
.6'7" and seemingly telescopic with it. And that's so often the tail of the tape when it comes to scrum time. Japan conceding serious ground on the scales.
Well, it was one area in the summer when Japan played the Maori All Blacks that Eddie Jones was talking about. They got caught overplaying in the middle of the field, and when they lacked that physicality to go toe-to-toe with some of the other forward packs that they were facing, that was where they came unstuck. They have got a tendency to go from touchline to touchline, but they do need to go forward as well.
Wait for my call. Mark here. Go back.
They are making strides in this department, though, speaking to Neil Hatley in the week, overjoyed with that 100% scrum success against the All Blacks just a couple of weeks ago. So they're making their weight felt.
Coach! Point! Set! Go 9!
Dupont feeds, watched on by Saito, his Toulouse teammate, and it's a flat pass across the face and onto Yoram Moefana. Here is Meafu, all 145 kilos of him, half of the Japanese pack in and of himself.
No.
To the skies. Look at the distance on it. It really is one of the great weapons in world rugby, that two-footed kicking game of Fabien Galtier's Petit Général. Here now, Barret onto Dupont in the backfield, assesses his options and picks out Theo Sogbe, just his third test match. 19 years old. Summoned to replace Damien Penaud. Well, the little dummy from Ramos gets the job done. He finds Flamand up the inside. Swift ball. France building now those early jitters, perhaps. Just skittled away. Chases on Biarré has Tuitama for company.
Time off.
France are celebrating as though they've got a score here, but we'll have to head upstairs to have a look.
Well, it was a good kick through. I just wondered whether
Okay, so we have the grounding.
Tuitama had the legs.
Try. Just make sure how the ball gets here. Okay, Richard.
Good flat pass, and then Biarré.
Going back to you.
Yes, you've got me.
On field decision try, we have a grounding. We just want to make sure that there was not a knock-on before. And if the player ground the ball here, please.
Okay, on-field decision try. I'll just check the grounding.
Yes, please, thank you.
And I think it's going to come down to whether Tuitama managed to get a fingertip on it just before Biarré dotted down. For sure he did. They picked that up.
Just rustling up the angles for us is our New Zealand TMO Richard Kelly. Here they come.
Just make sure there's no foul play by 11 first.
Okay, nothing is being shown on the screen yet.
I also wonder whether Biarré might have knocked that on. If once the ball comes out the back, comes off his, does it come off his arm or his chest?
Yeah.
Okay, I will go back. Have you got anything on screen now?
Yeah, we have on the screen first. We are having first backwards. First is knocked by Japan, and second is knocked by the French player. So unless you have anything else, we're restarting with the scrum.
Watch this is
There's no foul play there.
it's that knock on there.
Yeah, I'm happy there's no foul play. I'll just check grounding now.
Okay, please, thank you.
Well, Damien Schneider oversaw the Maori All Blacks against Japan back in June, so he knows the visitors pretty well.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't have a knock on here at this stage. And then I've
Certainly
got grounding by blue.
biggest occasion of his test match career so far.
There is knock on by Japan, and then the ball gets inside the goal, just push by the 11, so we can stick with the on-field decision.
Agree. On-field decision try.
Okay, back to me. Yes.
Well, maybe I need to ask for a law book for Christmas, but I would have given that as a knock-on by Biarré, but there we go. I'm not the referee, so it didn't matter. And that man is equally happy that I'm not the referee. A good start for the French team, back on Parisian turf. And now an opportunity for Ramos, who obviously doesn't get too many opportunities at 10 for France.
Well, it's been no oil painting, the start of this test match for France. The early charge down, the scrappy try, but 5 points is 5 points. 89% off the tee in 2024, this man. You suspect it will be the full complement.
We've killed him.
That's on me.
It was a good decision, though, to kick through from Biarré. And then Tuitama just lost his balance, lost control of his body as he got towards gathering the ball. And sometimes you just got to take what comes your way.
Backwards by blue. Okay, 9 new seats.
This time, the short, dinky restart. Well gathered by the home side.
Advantage from Con.
Cleanly gathered by Japan. And their chance to show what they can do. Ball in hand, an immediate advantage coming their way. So a free hit here for Eddie Jones's men, who tend to start like trains. So good in the opening quarters of matches, and we've seen the threat, the early pressure.
Free blue, too slow.
But we'll come back for the penalty.
Okay.
You've just got to be careful, France, when Japan do get those opportunities, when they have advantage, they're not shy to try and push the ball around, take a real gamble. It's obviously what you want teams to be doing, not just shutting up shop and playing for the penalty, but some real danger runners in that Japanese backline. Nakamura, Riley is box office. I would put him up there as one of the best 13s in rugby. He's properly good. Fafita, oh, just get out of the way.
Please.
The best line out at the Pacific Nations Cup. 91% Mamoru Harada was throwing at. And with tall timbers like Warner-Dane and Epineri Uluiviti to target. He's got big enough options available to him. Around he comes on an incisive arcing run. And this now is Fafita. Which means that the danger man Riley is lurking in the backfield on this occasion. He's the decoy. One of the bigger men employed, 10 metres shy now. Here, Kanji Shimokawa. And this Yuzuki Himeno, captain at the 23 World Cup. A long-awaited return against the All Blacks after complicated elbow surgery sidelined him for the better part of a year. But he is back as Japan start to build the phases. A bit of a rumble ripples around Saint-Denis.
Advantage.
Another advantage. Back-to-back penalties against Les Bleus. Tatakawa lays it back onto Tuitama. And support is Fafita.
A high shot foot against the Japanese, so another penalty. There's a couple of opportunities that the French have served up for Japan. Just got to be careful that Saito doesn't just go quickly. When you're a tiny little fella like him at 5'5", the one thing you do, which sounds bizarre, is hunt out those massive blokes.
Okay, yes,
Tavita Tatafu,
so
he might have lost 18 kilos, which on any normal human being would show. It doesn't on him, but they're the sorts of blokes that he's trying to hunt out, because he can use his skills, his strengths, to try and get around those big blokes that find it harder to move.
Okay, Richie, can you confirm me the number on the mark, please? Yes.
Well, he was the joint smallest player at the 2023 World Cup, was now to Saito. Liked it so much in France, clearly, that he made the journey across oceans, across continents, to come apply his trade at Toulouse and learn from the greatest, some would argue, to ever do it. But it's been a bit of a seatbelt tackle from Warner-Dane somewhere in and amongst those Japanese phases. So an opportunity to just alleviate some pressure. Although straight back it comes, the carry from Marlo Tuitama, looking to make amends after that dropped ball. Gifted France an early lead here. This the 8th encounter between these two nations. One draw, and all the rest going the way of Piotr Malvaca over the ball there, and the rest of this blue-clad horde. Himeno once more, ferocious counter-up led by Malvaca, and clutched, thrust backwards by Ati Sogbe, the teenager making his presence felt. This now the debutant, Tavita Tatafu. 158 kilos he was tipping the scales at in the summer. He's now slimmed down to a svelte 140. Gaeton's carry. Dupont onto Aldritz. Up to the half century, the La Rochelle captain tonight. Big shot made there by Uluiviti, one of a number of Fiji-born athletes in Eddie Jones's 23 today, but Aldritz has found a gap and finds the offload. Barret up and onto Bielbiaré, hunting for a second, finding a speedster out on the wing. It's Moefana back in field to Bielbiaré. Lovely 1-2 between the Bordeaux-Begle flyers. Ramos spots in open turf. Emilien Gaeton And France have gone off like fireworks at Saint-Denis. 2 tries inside 10 minutes. Fabien Galtier's stars back treading the boards of a stage they know so well.
Well, great awareness from Gaëtan. Had to wait an absolute age for that ball to come down from Thomas Ramos's crossfield kick. And I was just starting to think that at times Antoine Dupont was forcing the play, trying to make things happen all the time. And then he forced it once more and it came off and it looked absolute quality. Out the back door to Aldrit. And then real awareness from Ramos for the crossfield kick, and Gaëtan, rather than just dotting the ball down, making the kicker's job easier, getting closer to the posts.
This time it is pinpoints, and the barricade masses roar their approval. 12-0 in Saint-Denis, and a second test match score for the prodigious Emilien Gaëtan.
C'est transformé par le numéro 10, Thomas. France 12, Japon 0.
And this is what Eddie Jones wants to find out. How, when things don't go well, which they haven't gone well so far in these opening 11 minutes, how do they stem the flow? How do they stop the pressure that's being applied to them by opposition?
You see it?
Well, it's such a young Japanese side. Average caps across the travelling squad, just 10. 19 debuts handed out already in 2024. So they're learning all the time. And also learning is Ati Sogbe, whose speed of thought to snaffle that loose ball kick-started that second foray into Japanese territory for France.
Okay, 9, use it, please.
Taking his time is the resident Olympic gold medalist. It's a high and arcing effort onto Tomoki Osada of the Saitama Wild Knights.
Start here.
This one lower and questing, and Dupont gets to watch as his own law, written from rugby law, leaves a whole bunch of heavy men with hands on hips.
That's a poor kick from Japan. It's just a patience game for France. Keep knocking the ball back, wait until they make a mistake, and they didn't have to wait long. Real opportunity for the French attack.
Malvaka to Ruma, Toulouse athlete to Toulouse athlete, and here's another one. It's Flamand on that direct line. Dupont swiftly to the breakdown. This Francois Cross, another from the side who completed that Champions Cup top 14 double last summer. Here's the debutant to Tafu, finding Meafu, 2 gargantuan players in tandem. Ramos has it beneath the sea of red and white hoops, and it's been knocked on, ball back with Japan.
I think Thomas Ramos is pretty upset that the Japanese tackler couldn't quite see who it was, didn't release him. He had his knees on the floor. Have to release the attacking player when the knees hit the deck. Just starting to pull the strings a bit. Antoine Dupont, as he knows exactly, he's got a great feel of where defenders are in and around him, his body. And unlike many other players, he's got every single skill available to him to be able to execute, putting the ball in exactly the right space.
This is the first fixture of November in Paris. Up next for France, the All Blacks. 2 from 2 now, of course, but they will be battered and bruised by the time they roll into the Stade de France. And then Argentina, so impressive earlier, sticking 50 on the Azzurri. It's a big autumn, Tom.
It's a big couple of weeks coming up, and a lot of questions asked, I guess, eyebrows raised about Thomas Ramos playing at 10. Maybe it's a good opportunity to find out a bit more about him. I mean, unfortunately for Ntamak. He's been spent so long being injured that they need to know who else is outside of Jalibert, who is, again, another top quality fly half that France have at their disposal.
Ntamak out with a calf issue at the moment. They expected to be fit again before too long, but understandably, one of the crown jewels in French rugby right now. They want to keep him wrapped up in cotton wool, make sure he has a clean bill of health, and that, from the veteran of Tatakawa, has forced France right back into their own half. A backpedaling Barret will kickstart things.
That's a great clearance from Japan, that. Good set piece. You can imagine them being incredibly well drilled by Eddie Jones.
One stop. One stop.
Flamand the target this time, as France, who've made more meters than any other Tier 1 nation in 24, work their way up the pitch, but the pass doesn't stick. Just a couple of uncharacteristic errors here. You'd expect some rust. This lot haven't really played a test match together since Lyon in the final round of the Six Nations against England. So altered was their summer touring squad.
12 wide offside.
But I think when you look at the forward pack that France have out, 9 and 10 know each other inside out because they're both from Toulouse. The back line outside of Atisogbe, maybe Gaëtan, you could say, even though he has played a lot of rugby, they know each other. It just looks a bit sloppy. You'd expect a bit more accuracy from a French team that are looking to try and build. Okay, it's their first outing, but I think they won't be that happy with the accuracy they've displayed so far. Still a long way to go.
A long way to go on the clock, but just 10 metres in it on the pitch. Movaka doesn't find a target. No one lifted on that occasion, but the bouncing ball sits up for Moefana, and there's 6 metres in it now. Dupont across the face of the French defence, picking out Gros, but in and off his feet was the new man, Tatafu. And Japan again get away with one.
So difficult for Japan to try and win that gain line when you've got so many big men trying to latch each other through that contact area. It's hard enough trying to stop Tibita Tatafu on his own, but if he's then being joined by the likes of Miafu, any of the back rowers, Movaka, really difficult to stop them gaining serious advantage.
Well, the problem is for Japan is they've got players just as formidable on the bench. Talk about the replacements in a bit, but for now, let's enjoy the exploits of Dylan Riley. An absolute rock star in this Japanese back line as Tomoki Osada finds himself through the washer and dumped down unceremoniously by Greg Aldrit. And carried by the returning Jimeno. An open side today. Tatakawa finds Okabe. And this is a tricky little bouncing effort, but Bielbiaré finds it no problem whatsoever.
Oh, yes.
A couple of testers of this relatively fresh-faced Japanese backline. Gaëtan clinging on to the ankle of Tuitama. Really seen them a mark on this fixture so far. Ball in hands, Japan. Things have been stilted and fractured.
They get through quite a lot of phases, but they just don't go forward, and that's why Saito's had to try and kick that ball away. Poor kick.
Allows Les Bleus to switch the point of attack, and looking to chip and chase himself was Léo Barret, the 22-year-old Stade Francais athlete. At the heart of that brilliant league performance from the Parisian powerhouses last year. Gaëtan onto Bielbiaré. We've seen this one before. We've seen the chase, we've seen the spill, and crashing over is Alexandre Roumain. The referee thinks he might have spied a knock-on in that one. But Bielbiaré is having a field day up that left wing.
It's acceleration, isn't it?
Yeah.
Most players are quick, but look at the acceleration of Bielbiere as soon as he kicks this ball. Straight inside. And Tuitama's really struggling on the back foot to field those balls. I think it's Ruma, isn't it? Ooh, good pickup.
Richard.
It's just got awfully loud.
By Japan and second knock on by France initially. Let me know if there's
Stade de
anything
France,
correct.
no prizes for guessing why.
Field decision, knock on. We'll just check the grounding.
Yes, no try. Field decision, no try.
The question is Alexandre Ruma on his first start for the national side a France try scorer?
I don't think he's knocked that on. I think he's got his right hand in control of the ball. Is there any separation? I've just started wearing glasses, by the way, so... and I don't have them on. There's not a huge amount of separation, is there? I think...
Well, that's where the question becomes crucial. On-field decision, there was a knock-on, no try awarded, so have we got clear and obvious reason to overturn
so
the call?
In possession, we need to make sure that there's no separation before the grounding. You are correct, Jimmy?
Yes, Damien, I'm happy there's no clear separation. You may award the try.
Yeah.
So there's no separation with both hands, so it's okay.
Okay, so we are happy to award the try because there's no separation. I'm going to return my on-field decision and try for France here, okay?
Agree.
Captain. There's no separation, there's try for Japan, for France, okay?
Well, unlike Tom May, Richard Kelly, our TMO, has got his glasses with him. He overturns the on-field decision, and that right there is the merit of this new system of having the referees out to the stadium. That's the sound of 80,000 French people celebrating a third score in this opening test match of the Autumn Nations Series.
That's a brilliant pickup by Ruma. Huge man in that open side shirt. Brilliant pickup, controlled the ball, deserving of the try.
From 3 for Thomas Ramos. The gap grows to 19. Japan still bagelled in Saint-Denis.
I can understand why Tuitama's trying to control the ball in that manner, but he doesn't really have to go to ground because it's bouncing high. He can stay upright. I think it's much harder when the ball's bouncing around to try and control it when you're sliding along the deck.
Amala Tuitama has had 5 previous caps for Japan, all out on the wing. They are without 3 of their first choice fullback options, including the brilliant Sung-Sin Lee and Yoshitaka Yazaki. So short in that department, and it's a vulnerability that Fabien Galtier and his side have clearly spotted in advance.
Well, Yoshitaka Yazaki was brilliant through the summer. He's only played student rugby. Eddie Jones went and plucked him from university, chucked him in, and he tore it up. So they will be missing him.
Well, that's where he is right now, back at Waseda University. The university structure and pathway so crucial to the prospects of Japanese rugby, and Eddie Jones respects that. He understands that cultural piece, so he has allowed Yazaki to remain with his university side rather than come on this autumn tour. They're missing him tonight.
Well, as long as it wasn't just to ensure that he went to lectures, that's fine. Great kick from Bielbiere. He's a big unit of fullback. Worked in a couple of games that he's been involved in, physically dominant, very sharp on his feet. And obviously the aerial battle, aerial presence that he has is exactly what France would want, fullback.
crisp ball off that line out. Now all the big fellas plying themselves down over it. Navaka leaving a foot in there, just attempting to disrupt his teammates in Saito. Ball lost forwards by France. As the fans really start to lend voices to the scoring heroics of their sides. Saito, Uluiviti, Tatakawa. Break of the wrists from Fafita and an equally acrobatic catch. That's lovely from Tomoki Osada. But Dupont has him in a chokehold, and we know the deceptive strength of France's number 9.
That is ridiculous from Antoine Dupont. He's effectively, I don't know, just grabbed hold of a barbell in the gym and just pulled it off the deck. Shows you the strength of a man. Yes, physically, in stature, he might not be that big, but Osada is an incredibly powerful centre wing. And Antoine Dupont has done brilliantly there for his team to get underneath him, hold him upright. Shirt's absolutely busting at the bicep. Every player loves that.
Okay, let's go, boys.
Well, he was, lest we forget, player of the match in that ferocious 100-minute epic at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Champions Cup final, when he single-handedly affected as many turnovers as Leinster's pack combined. He's not short on raw strength.
It's the all-court game, though. It's like he can make turnovers, he can kick incredible 50-22s, he can make scything line breaks, he can put people in space. He single-handedly won that gold medal match in the Olympics. That was unbelievable.
2 tries in that final, up against a previously undefeated Fiji. And again, down that touchline, strokes Biel Biarre, but this time the kick doesn't come good.
Yeah, not quite the execution he would have wanted, given the positive nature of his previous kicks. You can see what he was trying to do. Wasn't working with a huge amount of space, though.
From Japan, that 5-metre channel, and Biarre waits before making his tackle. Here is Jimeno.
No.
Brings such guile and strength to that open side berth, really. Always makes his mark, even as he now works his way back to match fitness after that surgery. Riley.
First man, play on. First man in the ball.
6 tries in his last 6 tests for France, but I'll have to wait for another one because they've stripped it back and sent it a long way upfield.
Brilliant turnover from Emilien Gailleton. Got himself into a great position over the ball, ripped it away, stripped it away. And then Barry with another long touch-finding kick. Japan, first real period of attack.
Playing the man in there. Playing the man in there.
Dern's the recipient. Penalty going the way of Japan.
Playing the man in there.
And it's to the 34-year-old skipper, Haramuchi Tatakawa, to clear that one.
Warner Derns gets, I mean, he's going to get a long way up in the air at 6'7", isn't he? But they're so efficient at their line out. And every time it almost seems to find its way into Derns' hands.
You've got to use him. He's your tallest player, was the tallest and youngest at the last World Cup for the Brave Blossoms, and here he is now. Like a rhino trapped in a giraffe's body. He carries so hard, but there's nothing of him. Not outwards anyway. Riley next to Havertil, this Shimokawa. Swiftly to it is Saito, but he's going to have to really rummage for it because Meafu is making life miserable at each and every ruck for the Brave Blossoms. Little no-look pass there, Tatakawa finding Derns, but there's a double tackle awaiting him, and it gets the job done. Saito Tatakawa, then Fifita on to Riley, Dupont wise to it, and the line speed leaving Japan first on the back foot and then without possession, then the turnover. Dupont waits for no man, off he goes. Has Riley for company, but pops it up off the deck and onto Barre. Lovely pickup from Malvaka, who was a man possessed the last time he ran out here against the Springboks. Here now, Moefana with 12 on his back and Bielbiahe on the wing. Leaves his man flailing and has his second. It is a French backline shimmering with youthful talent, and right now they are blowing Japan off the park.
Well, patience in attack. Didn't panic when things started to break down, and then again Ramos seeing where the space is, using his footwork to get the ball out there. And then the Bordeaux pairing of Moefana and Bielbiahe working brilliantly. And a slight in and out from the left winger, doing enough to leave himself the space to dot the ball down. And well, this is becoming fast a bit of a rout for the French.
It's identical to that first kick off the tee, and this time right through the uprights. Moefana with the work, Bielbiahe with the tenacity to follow in support.
It's not much of a movement, but just that slight one step inside is enough to hold up Tatakawa, I think it was, who was charging across. Creates enough space that close to the line. Brilliant running.
It really is a star-studded coaching ticket for Fabien Galtier. He's only lost 3 times as head coach on French soil. 29 played. Scotland and Ireland in the Six Nations, and then that quarter-final against South Africa, which France, with this performance, starting to just scrub from the copybook. Some ghosts to banish tonight. Not that you'd know it from the sound of the crowd. Spoke about the blistering starts of Japan under Eddie Jones. We've seen none of it yet. 26-0 this one with half an hour played. That's some territory though.
It's not a bad little ploy from Asada. You can see him as he steps back away from the defence to buy himself some time, creates that hole on the outside. He's a good player, runs hard. Played on the wing and in the centre over the summer. They mix and match this back line. A lot of them have played across the back line, which gives them a bit more of an understanding about what other players need.
Meafu ducking a pair of granity shoulders and carrying hard. His locking partner Flamand over the ball for his skipper.
That was the left peg.
Up over halfway. Jean-Enaya Kambula, 2 tries in the final for Tokyo Brave Lupus in that fabulous League One victory over the summer. There's plenty of winning athletes in this Japanese side. They know what it takes to win at club level. It's taking that onto the test match arena that has proven evasive against Tier 1 opposition. Saito looking to draw in a quartet of French bodies. It gets the job done because Dupont is enveloped and the ball ricochets backwards. Ati Sogbe chasing back. He's got lovely distance on that. Back they come through Riley, who delays the pass, doesn't throw it at all. An athlete who started 4 consecutive tests now against France and rises to his feet as the advantage is given to the Blossoms.
Got numbers on that far side.
7 blue, never on side.
Yeah, play on.
They take it quickly Saito doing just as his Toulouse teammate did a few moments ago. He finds Shimokawa. Ati Sogbe can't weigh much, but he's giving everything he's got to each and every breakdown on that far touchline. He's a proper menace. Fifita on to Riley with a little dink up over the top. Mark called by Barret, then he sends that one long.
There's a poor kick from Riley, and Barret's reacted quickest by just knocking that long.
Stop.
And now Japan
Keep coming.
really in trouble, because that's a nothing kick in return.
Malvaka with 2 on his back, but you might as well stick a 1 before that digit. He really does carry like a centre. Go onto Ramos, another one of those cross-field kicks. Touchline beats everyone, his head in his hands. But he's pulling the strings well at 10 so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's having it all his way, isn't he? The French are on the front foot. He's almost sat in that armchair, just pulling strings, looking for space. He's got time, he's not under a huge amount of pressure. As we see Thibaut Flamand.
Well, the international rugby doesn't end tonight. Tomorrow it's Wales up against Fiji. Gatland's men have lost 9 in a row. They need a good start to their autumn before we head down to Sandy Park, round 6 of the best domestic league in women's rugby, as Lightning take on Chiefs. And then there's so much intrigue around this one. Can Scotland carry all of that Fiji flattening verve into a date with the world champions? Travelling quicker and thinking quicker than anyone. It's a trick play straight off the training paddock and onto the most glittering pitch in French rugby. 31-0. And as easy as pie.
Well, forwards and scrum halves spend hours working on their lineouts. And when it comes straight off the training park like that, you must feel $1 million. Malvaka straight into Dupont, fixes the defender, just gives it straight back in a nice little 1-2 that PSG would have been happy about. And France dot down in the corner, 31-zip with the kick to come. 34 minutes gone. Where did Japan turn?
Flags stay down on this occasion, but 6 points for Thomas Ramos, 31 for Galtier's men. And if Japan don't pull a rabbit out of a hat quickly, this could get very ugly indeed. Thibaut Flamand, as we saw just before that try was scored, leaving the field of play. So Paul Boudon of La Rochelle is on and with us, wearing number 20.
Use it.
Such ferocious competition for berths in that French back row. Got Aldrit lending his weight there, but also Charles Olivon not even involved in the match day 23 today. It's an abundance of bruising riches. And it's Ramos, the fly half, making the tackle there. Jimeno next to have a truck swiftly there from Saito. Picks out the one-out runner of Josiah Fifita. In its centre today for the first time. All his previous caps coming at wing, but Eddie Jones saying to him in the week, don't worry about passing, just play with physicality. And the Brave Blossoms could use some of that right about now.
Well, one thing about Fifita on the wing is he's a massive unit and he's quick, but he's not got the best turning circle. So with a French team that have got a great kicking game, they would have exposed that space in behind him incredibly well. So maybe Eddie Jones thinking, do you know what, you're better off in the midfield where we can just use you in to our strengths, get you over the gain line.
Well, France narrow for now, and again, the big men queuing up, latching onto one another.
You're not on the ball.
And turning Japanese players into origami.
Use it. Stay.
Dupont up and over halfway. Bielbiaré is giving chase, as is Boudin. Quickly off the floor for Saito. That rock speed is electric for Japan. That's one thing you can say for them. Get things away so swiftly.
Well, it's why France are having to attack the breakdown so hard. They would have seen how Japan operate. They need to operate with quick ball at the breakdown. They want to try and raise the pace of the game.
Hang on a minute, we've got a boulder on the rumble. Look at the carry there from Shuhei Takeuchi. He's a brilliantly exciting young tight head. Makes Ben Earl look unenthusiastic. All the nuts and bolts, but also the eye for the gap. And speaking of gaps, Dylan Riley might just have cantered clear for the easiest try he will ever score there. That is 7 scores in his last 7 test matches, but all the plaudits going to this man here, the 26-year-old. Catching everybody napping.
Decision try, just checking for a possible knock-on.
Hands in the rough.
So again, the on-field decision is try. Dylan Riley, regular 5-pointers for the Brave Blossoms. Is there a knock-on? That is the question being asked. I'm sure you can gain too much from that angle.
There's your clear knock-on, Damien.
That's probably why Dylan Riley didn't exactly sprint to the line. It's popped out of the tackle and then come back off to Tafu.
So back to me, please.
So that'll be scratched off.
We have a clear knock-on by Japan on the lead out, so there's going to be no try. Scrum for France.
Agree.
Okay. I am in front of the 22, am I correct?
And still they're happy.
Some of the best travelling supporters in World Rugby.
Brilliant. They just need something, though, to latch onto, don't they, Japan, right now? Whether it be a line break, they had one. They just need to make it, try and stick, try and capitalise on it. But it's pretty disheartening for them right now to look up at the scoreboard, see a big fat donut sat opposite 31 points, which have been, I guess, taken pretty easily by France so far.
And the fact that the athlete has made the most...
Sorry, I am in the correct mark. Scrum is there. Sorry.
The most convincing line break of the lot is their tight head.
Let me know when I'm correct.
Back we march. Like an enormous synchronized swimming display. 16 extra large jerseys in unison.
Okay, mark here. Let's go, boys. Quick reset.
Something to mark your cards. The Tour de France tomorrow on Eurosport 2 from 10 to 8 in the morning. Britain's Mark Cavendish, the most successful sprinter in cycling history, will retire from the Tour de France criterium in Singapore. So watch this historic moment live on Discovery Plus and on Eurosport 2.
Crouch!
I'm trying to get that thought of synchronised swimmers with this lot out of my head.
Sorry, it just...
Okay, you... One white collapsing, elbow down.
Huge amount of pressure coming through. And that time, it's Takato Akabe that's penalised.
The ball was collapsing. Too many
really, really tough evening for them, going up against Jean-Baptiste Gros, Malvaka Tatafu. Obviously got Boudin and Meafu, 5 enormous men that just will want to try and make their advantage pay.
7.
We mentioned
6.
how well the scrum held up against the All Blacks a fortnight ago. It creaked terribly in the Pacific Nations Cup on opponents put in. France's line out. Not the squeakiest or cleanest there, but Malvaka's done wonderfully to hoover it up. Look at the turnover there. That is a proper involvement from Kazuki Himeno. Such a threat at the breakdown. the most experienced forward in this pack with 34 caps, rising to the fore as Louis Viti carries hard. This now turns that totemic engine room, coming again and again with 70 seconds left if they want to have any imprint on this opening 40. Bashing against waves of blue defence and sound waves of La Marseillaise, crashing over these fatiguing bodies.
Line blue, entry. You need to go around. Line blue, entry.
Eddie in Paris. The Netflix spin-off, perhaps.
I wonder if there's a stadium where everyone cheers.
I don't reckon there is these days. And of course, all eyes will be on his homecoming in a fortnight, back in TW2, back taking on England, who might, at that stage, be 0 from 3 and in desperate need of a victory against their former mastermind.
He'll be licking his lips, won't he, at the prospect of that. If they are 0 from 3, which is very likely,
Okay, thank you. Okay, time back on.
He'll be approaching a team that is bereft of belief and confidence. And he'll find that a very attractive proposition.
Japan had a tiny chink of light, a little opportunity to do something in this opening 40. It vanished just like that with that spilt line out. Although somehow that ball stays in play, and the offload off the deck from Tuitama is sumptuous. Finds Naikambula on his wing, and look at the number of bodies in that wide channel. Now they find some shape in attack. Now Himeno, who is growing into this game, starting to find some form, has a crack. Tatakawa onto Fifita. Clock is red. Men in red have it.
Two blue off feet.
Now they have the penalty too. Saito will want to go quickly here.
Still France chucking numbers and big men into the breakdown. They can't afford to let Japan get quick ball.
They're outside of kicking range here, but we should mention the fact that they don't have... Oh, that is a howler. Park that for a moment, because Harumichi Tatakawa, despite all of his experience, has just brought up the end of this first passage of play. 5 tries for Les Bleus, a pair for Biel Biarré, one for Gaëtan, one for Ruma and Malvaco, with the little tricksy play at the end. But all things going the way of Les Bleus for now, returning to the Stade de France and with a asked of his group during the interval.
Trying to get some coherence in their defence, trying to stop France on the gain line, which is going to be incredibly difficult, but also try and build some possession. And when they do have that, bring some variation to their attack, as France have done. Very easy said, a lot harder to be done, but that's definitely something that Japan are going to have to try and do over the next 40 minutes to make sure that the second half doesn't go the way of the first.
Ramos picks out Osada and immediately back in their own 22, where they spent so much of that first half. Are the brave Blossoms. Up and over she goes, and France's fly half carries back into heavy traffic, but he's got Aldrit for company, and also Boudin. 2 big men rolling up sleeves and making sure the penalty goes towards the home side.
Well, you can see what Dylan Riley was trying to do in holding Thomas Ramos up, but that actually backfired as Aldrit fired into the contact area and drove his teammate through that. I think that they went to debt and run the risk of losing it, but got awarded the penalty. Now they're on the front foot straight away.
Michael Guillard is on, who plays his club rugby for Lyon. Just the 2 caps This is first time at this cathedral of French rugby, and he is straight into the mix as the maul marches onwards. And the crowd do all they can to lend their support. Dupont plucks it away and finds Moefana. Now the handbrake can come off as the referee's arm extends. Guillard, his first carry of this test. Dupont picks out Meafu, happy to just utilise those heavies one after the other, and here is Gross! Picking up right where they left off, France turn the screw and heighten Japanese torment. Now the Stade de France.
Well, again, lacking cohesion in defence, but it's so difficult when you're trying to mark someone of Antoine Dupont's quality. Runs at the hole and just picks the right options. Delayed the pass. Delaying the pass means that defenders make their decisions, and it means that in attack the options are far more clear. And when you get someone that has the clarity of vision of the game that Antoine Dupont has, it makes it even easier. Jean-Baptiste Gros with the 5-pointer, and Thomas Ramos with a fairly regulation conversion to take it out to 38-0.
His 30th Test match appearance, his first try as Charles Olivon and the rest of this star-studded squad watch on. And the tricolores ripple around Saint-Denis. Tatakawa picks out Atisogbe, the teenager, being given such a rich opportunity. Summoned up, remember, to replace Damien Penaud. A late withdrawal. And the most youthful of this back line of Tyros. To Itama, finding Tatakawa, who pirouettes before he is brought down. Lovely delayed pass from Takeuchi, and that gets some front foot ball for the Brave Blossoms. The no-look onto Takeuchi, but oohs in Paris as he is dumped down. To Itama. This now Louis Viti, but he is felled before he can make any real inroads. Riley, so quick off the mark. His first step is devastating, but he's one of just a handful of Japanese players able to get any semblance of forward momentum at this stage. They talk about playing quickly. Eddie Jones's coaching staff, Chosoku, the Japanese concept of playing lightning quick rugby. But France are getting pause on breakdown ball and are stymieing any heads of steam in the midfield.
It's all very well playing lightning rugby, but you need to be playing some go-forward rugby as they just get a bit through Harada. If you play lightning rugby when you're getting over the gain line, it's a million times easier.
The youngsters combining to devastating effect. Atisogbe and Moefana, ensuring the tackle is made on Osada, who had eyes for a meaty fence down that touchline. Now Saito freeing the hands. Out the back door, onto Jimeno. This now the fullback, to Itama. Well wrapped up, Gaito and Ramos form them all, bring it crashing down.
Body there. Unplayable. It was trapped in the legs. Trapped in the legs. Unplayable.
Well, I studied my law book at half-time.
Oh, yeah?
And going back to the first try, you can knock the ball on with your chest. I've been reliably informed. But I would have thought that ball there, the tackler at least had his knees on the ground. Just unfortunate for Japan that they were looking around the wrong side of the breakdown, which meant they couldn't see that the ball was available. Almost given up the ball very easily there. That's exactly what they don't want to be doing. They do not want to be giving France any more possession than they need to. Tackles missed, not that different, but the tackles made. Shows you how much possession that Japan have had. It's just not on the front foot. I just wonder how long until we see the likes of the other Tavita Tatafu, number 20 for Japan. Got a real punch about the way he carries. Just need a bit more physicality, don't they, in that midfield and in those carrying areas. If they can get on the front foot, as I say, then they can get into those wide channels where they've got some really outstanding attacking runners.
Tricolores and cherry blossoms, and the ball away from Dupont onto Biarré, who suddenly finds himself one of the more experienced members of this French back line at the tender age of 21, and he's shouldering all that responsibility. Mehafu looks up above the heads of the Japanese defence. Basketball pop pass away. Barré had Atisogbe to his right, but decided instead to ride the contact. And so the Po teenager in as scrum half. Here comes the real number 9 of Gautier's men, Moefana. Barré just drops the ball from his fingertips. Gaëtan's there on litter-picking duty. Now it's France's turn to backpedal, ball in hand. This better defensively from the Japanese. Dupont with an audacious little offload, then the switcheroo. Atisogbe gets it onto his captain. One-handed take from Ramos. It's fancy stuff, but they need front football here, France. They need some forwards momentum and some accuracy too. Dupont! Well, it's helter-skelter stuff, but he's back all right. Back conducting sweet symphonies at the Stade de France. And at the heart of a side who are just starting to purr.
Well, it hasn't taken him long, has it? Atisogbe getting his hands on the ball as much as he can, but I just wonder that has gone forward. This will be checked, I'm sure of it.
I'm going to show you a clear knock-on by 14 blue.
You can adjust your notes, Claire. It's very close, wasn't it? You could see what Moefana was trying to do.
So the ball clearly travels forward from the hand.
But it's Atisogbe. I think if he'd actually left it, it would have dropped straight into Thomas Ramos's hands, and he would have been under the sticks anyway. But as it was, you can understand it. 19-year-old thinking, oh, I could be on the score sheet here. Went to reach out for the ball.
Yes, Damien, the ball clearly travels forward from 14 blue.
No try.
I think he'll get over it. It's been an all right 2024 for Antoine Dupont. Olympic gold, grand final triumph, France's first 7 series victory in 19 years. Undefeated so far with Toulouse upon his return to the 15-a-side game. And Legion d'Honneur, a weekend with LeBron James. Yeah, I won't be getting my tiny violin out anytime soon.
All of the accolades and all of that stuff's amazing, but actually when you watch some of his performances when he's been playing 9 or 10 for Toulouse, 9 times out of 10 he's man of the match, no matter where he's playing, and he can. The top 14 is one of the, if not the strongest club league in the world, and he makes very, very good players look very, very ordinary.
Speaking of very, very good players, Eddie Jones has broken the glass box, marked Amato Fakatava, and the Tongan-born Hulk is on to the field wearing 19.
Okay, quick reset.
30 minutes remain on this one. 38-0 to Les Bleus, and Japan looking for something to take with them down the road to Chambéry next Saturday, when they've got a date with Los Terros of Uruguay. Might this be the moment? Saito to Tatakawa. Riley, who seems every time he touches the ball to just make something feel tangible for the Blossoms. Saito onto Himeno, who arrived at pace. Tatakawa again, Fifita, this again, Riley, lovely offload. That's better from Japan. Options outside, options in, offload away, landing right in the breadbasket. Foot to the floor, Tatakawa, blue jerseys, descending on the Japanese skipper, but to no avail. They have been at 6s and 7s all evening. Often underdogs, frequently outsized, but never, ever daunted. And at last they have something to show for it.
Well, it's brilliant from Japan. Dylan Riley, central to everything. That offload is unbelievable. Under a huge amount of pressure, one-handed to keep the ball alive through Naikambula. And then just using up the space, taking in the defenders. It's Harimuchi Tatakawa who dots the ball down as he hobbles off and he leaves the kicking to Naoto Saito, who smacks it straight down the middle. And they're still smiling. Look at that offload. Naikambula timing his run brilliantly, coming from depth with pace. If you're an outside back, you just truck and trail Dylan Riley all day, because you know he'll get to an edge, you'll know he'll get through to an arms tackle, and he's got the ability to get that ball away. And that doesn't look great for Tatakawa.
Dylan Riley had 9 try involvements in 2024 coming into this one, more than anyone else in Tier 1 rugby. That won't count as one. He won't get the assist, he didn't get the score, but what an involvement as his captain departs the field. Tatakawa looking in a whole heap of pain, which will be of some concern to Japan. Just the 2 matches into their tour. It does mean, though, that we've got 2 new fly halves, because Mathieu Jalabert is on to the field for Les Bleus, and Takuro Matsunaga will arrive for Japan along with Shinobu Fujiwara, wearing 21. As zippy a scrum half as you will find anywhere. So, fresh halfbacks and 7 apiece for this second half. Dupont onto and off Gross. Turnover ball for Riley, who uncharacteristically opts to slam it upfield.
Stop! Stop!
It's not a bad option from Riley. They work so hard on their kick chase, the Japanese. They knew that they're going to eat up some of the ground. And really, as we see, Jean-Baptiste Gros depart. Yukio Morikawa comes on, not for France.
Here's Reda Waldi from La Rochelle. And now perhaps the time to mention that there are 215 caps amongst the replacements for Fabien Galtier. Eddie Jones has 52 to summon upon. The gulf in experience is mammoth. Derns again hoisted heavenward, and Fujiwara just popping that one up. Shimokawa. Now Fifita on to Riley again with a kick, but this one low and questing, and it's Bielbiarré's turn to be pinned back on his own in-goal area, but this one just a metre off perfection.
Strong. Five wide.
Warner Durns just heading off the field for an HIA, so he will need replacing ahead of this scrum.
That's not what they need, because he's central to not only their set piece but their ball carrying in midfield. He's very influential around the shapes and plays that they have.
Watch her off.
And I want to try and get him back onto the field, but here comes a human battering ram. Tavita Tatafu.
Playing his club rugby at Bordeaux-Bègles, along with the likes of Moefana, Bielbiarré, Mathieu Jalibert. Scored against France before, in Toulouse, July 2022. So he knows this lot in the colours of his club and his country. Big shove from France, huge. There's the advantage. Aldred picking out Dupont. Fujiwara for company, but leaves him for dead. And Antoine Dupont with the little goose and the swerve. Gets up, goes again, eventually held, but he has just gobbled up 40 metres of immaculate Saint-Denis turf. Boudin places it backwards. Wardy awaits for his first rumble of the Autumn Nations series. Cries of Allez, les Bleus, as Ati Sogbe shrugs off one, eventually finds himself in a blossom sandwich. Oh, it's Georges-Henri Coulomb. Welcome to the match. And over go the French. It is Paul Boudin as Fabien Galtie's men continue to banish the ghosts of that quarter-final, along with any hopes that the Japanese might have had.
Well, massive line break from Antoine Dupont. I just wonder whether we went the wrong way. He went right to try and finish it himself. I think inside there's two support players coming up the centre of the field, and that would have been try time underneath the sticks. Just see there Gaëtan and Atisogbe trailing on the inside. But then once the Japanese are cut like that, it's so difficult for them to stop the big fellas like Georges-Henri Lecomte. As again, Ramos takes the extra two. 45-7, 55 minutes gone. France purring.
Visits to the 22 this evening, Les Bleus, 7 tries. Ramos really feeling it off the tee now and just making it hurt that bit more for Japan. Les Bleus closing in on the first home win of the weekend this November. The All Blacks toppling the Aviva, the Wallabies stunning the Aliens, and Los Pumas burying nail after nail in an azuri coffin a little bit earlier on. But the ramparts at the Stade de France standing firm so far. Here is Matsunaga. Riley picking out Tamefusa, the Kubota Spears tight head, and somehow popping up again in the midfield. He's virtually omnipresent.
Gets through so much work as that pair of eyes in behind the ball carriers, those decoy runners, if you like. He's the one that they want to try and get into space. It's just picking the right option for the Japanese. Gail Fiku has come back on. Into the French shirt, Emilien Gaiton takes his leave. Defensive general Ficou is someone that the coaching staff really valuing the guidance that he gives to his teammates in that area. Not that they've needed a huge amount of defence tonight, to be honest.
And Gaël Ficou, who this evening found himself amongst the replacements for the first time since February 2019. Even when Penaud was lost to us, he remained wearing 23, testament to how much Galtier wants to build depth, wants to blood youngsters. But now on comes the veteran. And straight onto defensive detail, because Japan have it and they are into the 22. Fujiwara, but such pace on that ball, just ricocheted off the chest.
Well, he's got away with it because France are offside. And I did think a couple of phases before that there's one distinct thing about Shinobu Fujiwara. Doesn't take any prisoners when he's passing to them. The effort that he puts into that, he puts some real zip on the pass.
France leading this second half. It has been marginally better from the Brave Blossoms, who will look to continue this assault on the French line. Jimeno with it at the base of that one. Aldrit with a crucial tackle.
Malvaca might have been offside again, and he's just been done a second time at the base of the breakdown.
Louis Viti, as the referee just reminds Japan that they've got a free shot here, a penalty at worst, the leg drive. And a second penalty, Aldrit. This time, the individual at fault. Ramos doffs that into the stands, so back we come. Surely this goes deep into the corner.
So we are start having last penalty.
I just wonder.
First, 2 not running away, and then 8 not clear release. Please tidy up. Next boy will go out. Thank you.
Next boy will go out.
Here or there.
You just wonder whether Japan probably could be better off just tapping and going. Set piece hasn't really been able to compete with the French. And they go to the back of the line out because it means that they can negate the back row coming off. I'm not going to try and drive them over. I wouldn't have thought so anyway.
Well, they're missing the 2-metre tall Warner Durns, but other jumpers, other options. This one, Louis Viti, and now they get to work at the back with it. Is Harada hunting for a second score that would mean so much? They have been so frequently stymied and extinguished, but this time they detonate. And Japan have a second that will mean the world. Tevita Tatafu seizes the opportunity and slams it down.
Slams it down and makes me eat my words. They're not going to drive it. What do? Drive it. And did it perfectly. Great body position, patient. France will be pretty disappointed with the way that they defended that. Malvaca needed to have joined that ruck when he had the opportunity, and their gap appeared at the back of it. It was exactly the space they needed.
Shot clock off.
I'm going to check it.
Time is off. Time is off.
Okay, check. Damien.
Okay, Rich. Referring to your check. On field the fishermen have a try. Have a clear grounding by Japanese player. Let me know what you're seeing.
Okay, I just want to check grounding, Damien. I just want to make sure the ball clearly touches the ground.
Okay.
if the thigh of teenage Teo Atisogbe has denied the hulking Tevita Tatafu a score here, it will be some play.
I think it has. I think it's a brilliant spot. He may have a thin leg, but it's a big enough leg to have kept the ball up.
To see compelling evidence to overturn the on-field decision. I'm not seeing any angle clear yet.
I don't think he'll thank you for thin leg.
This is your best angle. So the ball's clearly held up and never touches the ground. Clearly held up. Damien? The ball's planted on the blue player's leg and never touches the ground. So it's held up.
Okay, so we're going to overturn my on-field decision. No try, held up, goal line dropout.
Agree.
Okay, back to me, please.
Well done, great intervention.
No try, held up, goal line dropout.
There you go, never skip leg day. They could all be important. Atisogbe's leg, vitally important.
I believe that's what they call a thigh-saving tackle.
Oh, brilliant, like it. You've written that down.
Promise I haven't.
And that'll please Sean Edwards. I think they would have been pretty disappointed, given the dominance they've had in their forward pack, to have conceded a driving line out like that. Tatafu back at it, though.
Release!
They love a counter-attacking score, Japan. They love a loose kick, and this has given them the opportunity to flex exactly those muscles, but pass through the outstretched arms of Yusuke Kajimura, who's on now. So France's turn to roll the dice with turnover ball. And a man who loves transition is Jaliba, but Tatafu denies down that end 1 moment ago with just BLBRA to bump off. He's reaching and stretching, but has he just been denied for a second time in 90 seconds?
Okay, good. Try. Good
Well
reach, thank
done.
you.
Well done, Tevita Tatafu. He could have reached early. It was a brilliant way to keep the ball up, but if any player on this field
23 here.
would have been praying that he wouldn't have had to run 45 metres, it would have been Tevita Tatafu, especially when he saw Biel Biarre coming across. His teammate, look at the patience, awareness. Great score. Just only making it back now, Tevita Tatafu.
Takuro Matsunaga, 1 from 1 against the All Blacks off the tee a fortnight ago. This a real tester. Dialed in, but not quite the distance, which you can't say about Tevita Tatafu, who no sooner had we written down and crossed out his name on our score sheet, was back on it.
It's a brilliant effort from Biel Biarre. As we see, Jalibert did everything right, just gave the ball slightly late as Tatafu lunged forward.
Backwards of blue play on.
And there he is again. Tevita Tatafu having the cameo of dreams. Ball smuggled away and onto Riley, but off the shin she bounces.
I thought that might have come off his leg, but I've shown my lack of awareness for the laws, so I'm not even going to say any more. Warner Derns looks like he's going to be coming back on.
Have Japan been better in this second 40, Tom, or have France just taken their foot off the gas?
I think it's difficult when you start to change combinations. When actually the game's in the bag, it's really difficult to try and keep your foot on the gas as much as you have done in that first 40 minutes. But certainly I think Japan have offered a bit more. had a bit more punch, but you'd have to say that at 31-0 at half-time, it's going to be very difficult for France to maintain that.
Plenty more rugby coming your way tomorrow. Don't be fooled by last weekend's Scottish cakewalk in Edinburgh. Fiji have their danger men back, and they are arriving in Cardiff at lunchtime, live on TNT Sports 1. The table toppers the Chiefs are hosting the Midlands outfit with a devastating backline in the PWR. TNT Sports 4 kick-off at 3 p.m. in that one. And then Scotland against the Box. The last time Rassie Erasmus's men were in the Northern Hemisphere, they were winning the World Cup. They've gone all right since, and they are heading to Edinburgh at tea time. And then we are off to the Tour de France Criterium, following the news that Mark Cavendish, Britain's most successful sprinter in cycling history, will be retiring after that one tomorrow morning on Eurosport 2 and Discovery+. Moefana in as first receiver, picks out Jalabert, so a little mix-up in the backline as the brass band gets to work, and France goes searching for an eighth.
It's a brilliant kick. Brilliant kick. That's exactly what you want the Japanese to have to do. Play it.
They go quickly. The crossfield kick is on. Moefana gathers it cleanly. He's got such nifty footwork. Has the hooker. 2 meters the difference as Dupont assesses his options. They are burly, can tell you that for nothing. Ramos on to Fickou, well read, but keeps going all 100 kilos of his frame, working hard. Atisogbe, listen to the cheer as he's brought down. Was that tackle high? Going again is Boudéon with the reach and the thud and the brace. It's never dull with this lot, not for long.
Well, Boudéon is the one that scores the try, but Atisogbe did so well to keep that ball in play. Antoine Dupont, seeing the space, putting the ball exactly where he wanted. Look at this hit from Dylan Riley. Stop Moefana dead. And then it was just so difficult for Japan to get set in their defensive alignment. Look at that, keep the ball in play. Yes, he only just managed it, but it's so important. So easy to just go into touch there and turn the ball over. There he is, the man himself, 65 minutes. Some pretty impressive contributions, as this man has been with his boot. Incredible, metronomic.
So Maxime Loukou is now with us as Galtier empties his bench. The difference, and that only compounding Japanese woes. And an excusable error off the kickoff. And it's been talked about plenty, but France needed a result and a performance like this off the back of a summer where they made headlines for all the wrong reasons. It's a French side that have been mired in controversy over the last few months off the back of a disappointing Six Nations, that heartbreaking World Cup exit. This the chance to drag a damp cloth across a murky blackboard and start afresh for 2027, the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and I think, look, there's always going to be things to work on, aren't there, in every performance on a rugby field, and that certainly rings true for the French this evening. But with 2 massive weeks ahead of them, they need to, if they had a really good performance, then that maybe have caught them out. But I think there's been enough creaks in this performance from the French. They'll be very, very focused moving into the next fortnight.
Jalibert to Fickou, as well met by Osada, but the offload finds Atisogbe, who has been heavily involved in just his 3rd test. Guillard also capped in Argentina. Next to go, then Wardy and Jalibert on to Ramos. Those two playmakers combining neatly to bring Biel-Biarré back into the thick of things. Here is Marchand on for Piotr Malvaca. The two brilliant Toulouse hookers driving each other onto loftier and loftier heights as they compete for that starting berth. Beg your pardon, Malvaca is still with us.
He shifted into the back row, as only he can do. Still throwing numbers at the breakdown, both in attack and defence, France, and it's working for them. Great hands.
Swiftly from Ficou to Malvaca, Biel-Biarré again. Lucu is there, Bordeaux onto Bordeaux, and here's another one. Jalibert finds Boudel, hunting his hat-trick now.
Holding.
But 9 phases will cut out at just that as Fujiwara, eyes alight, sets off. Finds Fakatava in support. Jimeno, who's definitely looking back towards his menacing best as he continues that return. Need a scrum half. On sides and batters Riley. But the counter-up is voracious from Les Bleus. They have it back, Lucu into the pocket to Ramos. Spying unguarded backfields.
It's a great kick. And just leaves Japan with no option, really, than to just hoof it back. Can't create anything from there. Desperate as they might be to run with it.
10 minutes go as Ramos charges up, finds Malvaca, Biel-Biarré makes it look so effortless, he just skates. But then the pass is errant. Fakatava, that's a look forward, hoisting that one high. Again comes Ramos.
Go forward.
I would imagine Fakatava would have been desperate to get that back, having just put his sand wedge onto the ball. Eddie Jones would imagine have something to say about that. Did what he could to turn the ball over, but Biel-Biarré was out often at the races again, wasn't he? Just wonder whether there was a call on the inside, because there was no one anywhere near him. Brilliant one-handed offload. Awareness, dexterity from Malvaca. Someone called something.
Crouch. Point. Set.
Wardy, Marchand, Colombe. France's front row, and you're not doing badly when those are your cavalry.
Listen. Hold. France, voice for the ball. Keep the hit. Go again, quick reset.
We talked about the size of Tavita Tatafu. Well, they've got another fridge freezer lookalike in Georges-Henri Colombe on the bench. 6'4", 140 kilos.
That's outstanding, that. 130 carries and nearly 230 metres more than France, Japan have made. But yet still, it's 52-12.
Lucu, Bordeaux's captain, bides his time, finds Ficou. This now Jalibert, Biel-Biarré, all the Bordeaux players linking up, but they're not finding the man who plays for Pau on the touchline, Atisogbe, who scarcely put a foot wrong.
It was a pretty lateral play from France as Japan are off.
They certainly are. Setting off, there's the offload from the deck. Fujiwara can't find his footing, and in and over it like a vice is Thomas Ramos.
Not often you see a 10 make a turnover, but it was very well needed.
He's kicked, he's assisted, he's jackled, and he'll sing the theme tune too if you let him.
played well. But it's an armchair ride, isn't it? Really. And listen, you've got to play what's in front of you. It's very easy for us to say, well, you know, it's been all his way this evening, but that's not his fault. He's done what he can do, and he's contributed massively to his team effort.
A very interesting head-to-head to enjoy next week then against Damien McKenzie. A little bit similar, a full-back fly-half hybrid, pinpoint off the tee. That should be tasty.
Question for Gaultier is, who does he choose?
Go on then, who does he?
Well, I think he has to play with Jalibert, who's an out-and-out 10. It's been outstanding. I think he's the player that's going to cause most stress to that New Zealand defence.
Well, there's nothing stressed about this French defence right about now, because Japan are battering and beating and throwing absolutely everything at it, but still just going incrementally backwards. Fujiwara finds the only man who seems to be able to make hay in Riley, still going 74 minutes into this test match. In and over the ball is Guillard. Thought for a moment he'd enacted the turnover, but it's back with the Brave Blossoms. He's been lively, Fujiwara.
Run.
Just cranked up the intensity and tips it on now. Again, come Japan. Luku missing that tackle, but Marvaka is there, and Ramos to slam the door shut. Offload off the floor. Fujiwara with the support of Tamafusa behind him, but what a shot! Boudin is having a stormer, and he has just flattened Japan's number 21.
Okay, now in your seats.
Pragmatic from Luku.
They put some good stuff together to the Japanese, and you just... The conundrum they find themselves in is how they piece it all together. Things like that don't help. They need to get a consistent set piece where they know they're going to get the ball back, at least with parity. I think the biggest difference for them is finding ball carriers that and plays that can get them over the gain line repetitively, because no matter when they're getting quick ball, which they have done, even if it's flat on the gain line, they don't have the ability to then make that pay, make it count. And that's the difficulty for them, and they've got some, obviously Uruguay next week. You can see how quick that breakdown is. 1 to 3 seconds, 77% of their breakdowns. The return of the ball is rapid for Japan. So they have to make that count somehow.
The industry is vast. It's just the return that they are sorely lacking. Uruguay on the horizon, in Chambéry on Saturday, before England the following Sunday.
Okay, let's go. Quick reset.
And a beautiful full circle moment for this group. Their first test under Eddie Jones was against England, and they will mirror that in their final of 2024. The question is, how much progress will we have seen by that stage?
Crouch. Point. Set. Early.
Little moments like that will scarcely help their cause.
You're outside. Right here.
Was captain fielded by Jalibert, picks out Man at the back into Tama. The crowd keeping themselves entertained, never shy of a song or two here at the Stade de France. The test match rugby has returned with heavyweights on the horizon. Japan, though, with an advantage. Fujiwara onto Kajimira. Vakatava well met by Moefana. No Jonathan Danty. So a real opportunity for the 24-year-old to make that 12 jersey his own. He's so frequently involved. One of those proper utility backs who sometimes get short change as a result. Such a handy number 23 for Gautier. There's life in Japan yet. Again they come. Shimokawa gets the offload onto Fujiwara.
The ball was on the outside there just to go with hands.
Well, now through the hands they go, and Jalabert putting his head in the spokes to tackle Takuro Matsunaga. 12 phases from Eddie Jones's brave Blossoms. Might they have one final say in this one? Perhaps not, because Georges-Henri Coulombe and Mika Gouillard have combined and allowed Luku to send a huge clearing kick away, and Biel Biarré again with the kick chase. The meters he has made.
And this time it's Naikambula who's having a bit of a shocker in turning around and retreating to pick the ball up. There's no doubt they know the pressure's coming from the French left wing.
2, 1.
It's basic stuff. Ball's not gathered cleanly, which gives France the chance to reset and come again and go in hunt of what would be a 9th try of the evening.
Great kick.
22 for me. Yeah.
Great kick. Ball stopped dead. Everyone's knackered. We'll knock out a 50-22.
How long ago the heroics in Brighton will feel to Japanese fans, or those in their own backyard in 2019. They lost 13 of their 17 tests between the next 2 World Cups. They're struggling badly for momentum in this cycle. We saw that trick play across the other side of the pitch. Dupont onto Malvaca, but this time Luku to Marchand. The ball spills, the clock is red, and the whistle blows. Well, it was Bleu versus Blossoms, and the hosts weren't going to lose this one. Not in this place, but for these fans, and with formidable stars like those right there at their disposal.